G'day legends, the Sunken Dutchman here. We are on a very fun adventure today. I got the big man, the great man, El Pumpy. It was his birthday not too long ago, and we thought we'd do an adventure, something different, something special. So we're on our way down to Hogan Island. Some mates of mine have given me some scans, and the water looks really clean down there. A little bit warmer than in close, so hopefully we're in for a treat. You never know, maybe some kingfish, maybe some crayfish, but we'll get down there and we'll have a muck around. So we'll touch base when we're a little closer. Cheers.
Absolutely love exploring new places, and the more remote you go, the better it is. Seems that the marine life is just not scared of you, less on edge compared to when you're diving areas that are hit up by Spearos a lot. Pretty soon my attention turned to try and find a crayfish for dinner. I'd done a couple of dives and I'd come across this guy here. But when I dove on him previously, I'd seen that he had heaps of room to kick back. This was a one grab wonder scenario. Often when I come across this scenario, a little technique that I like to use is if I've got a fish that I've shot, I'll use the whole fish or some of the guts to try and tempt that cray a bit forward out of his hole, just giving myself the best opportunity to grab. This scenario had never actually happened to me before, but as Pumpy swam over to help me get this cray in the catch bag, I could feel one of his horns giving way, and then I tried to position myself or reposition my hand to get a better grip on his horn, and at that moment the cray just bucked and kicked out of my hand and V-lined for the bottom. Now, I panicked here and I tried to chase him down to the bottom, and as you can see, only just got him. He had a plethora of caves to go and hide in, but managed to get my hands on him a second time.
This bad boy just did not want to get caught. It's a good sized cray, but he just did not want to get caught. This dude, I'm just, motherfucker. And again, oh, and he's dropped a leg too, the little shit. Oh, two legs. Well, we're gonna have them in. We're gonna have them in our pasta too. Unreal. Look at this place. Look at that moon. It's like the land that time forgot. And look at that beached walrus over there. Look at that bloody beached walrus.
You would have seen that debacle that was the cray, but at least we got him. Mate, tell you what. Anyway, Pumps is making some abalone, chili, parsley, coriander pasta with some cray legs that fell off the big boy. So yeah, we're going to be living it up. Loving life. Can't complain. Anyway, we'll see you out there tomorrow when we're back in the water.
But we woke up this morning, we got a really nice day, pretty much non-existent swell. A little bit of wind chop coming in from the east, but should be fine. And yeah, looking forward to getting out there today and hopefully getting onto a few more fish and a few more crays. So see you out there in the water. We jumped back in the water, and first thing on the agenda was trying to get ourselves some more crayfish. Now, when we're looking for crayfish, we are looking to try and find, some sort of structure underwater that would hold them. Cracks, crevices, and places they like to hide. So typically you're looking at bommies, something with an overhang, or a ledge within a rock, like a crack that's opened up within a rock. Something that's sort of not too big. You don't want to look for big open holes. You want something that's sort of quite small you'd be surprised what they can jam themselves into. Yeah, so you're looking at smaller cracks, and you're trying to look for that telltale sign, just a flash of red, really. Legs, antennas, anything like that. And the other thing that we sort of look for is we try and look right up the back when you got a crack that has a couple of, caverns that go different ways. You want to make sure that you check everything thoroughly. You don't just want to look at cracks from the surface of the water. You want to get right down low, stick your head right in. A torch is also handy, just so when you get right into those cracks, you can light up the back and see if there's a cray there. Now, on the previous dive I did, I'd actually noticed a cray in a hole. And again, it was the same scenario where this cray had heaps of room to move. He could kick back well out of arm's reach. So I decided I was going to use the same technique as I did with the cray the previous day. Now, we'd shot a couple of blue throat wrasse, which we were going to eat for ceviche for lunch. So I thought, perfect, I'll use one of those blue throats to try and bait him out. Now again, in these scenarios, if you don't spook the cray and you get him to walk forward and you can see that he's somewhat interested in some food, you've got a couple of dives, so you don't have to try and rush to get a lunge in. If he walks forward and you haven't spooked him, you can dive 3-4 times on that cray and he should come forward and walk each time. So you can see in the first dive that I do here, I wasn't quite happy with where he was positioned and where my hand was positioned. Wearing the GoPro on the head, it doesn't sort of give you a good idea, a good understanding, should I say, of your body and how it's positioned. So I bailed on the first attempt, knowing that he was interested and knowing that I could come back down, make sure that my body was in a good position, so when I lunged, I didn't hit my hand on a rock or bump my shoulder on a rock and miss the opportunity. Now, on the second dive on this cray, I was much more confident in how my body was positioned. I didn't have any obstructions blocking the hand that I was going to make the attempt at a grab with. And I was happier where the cray was. He'd walk just, an inch or two out further from the crack. And sometimes that can be the difference. All it takes is just an inch forward and you're guaranteed a good lunge and a good grip on those horns. Now, considering what happened the day before, I had a good tight grip on this bad boy. I was making sure that he was coming home with us for dinner.
Yeah, boy! Couple monsters. Couple monsters. Love it. Yeah, so our mate here's 19 and a half. And our mate here is 19. There's some decent crays.
So after lunch, we decided that we were going to have a crack at some of the whiting we'd seen swimming around in the shallows. A technique that worked well for me was hugging the bottom and throwing up some sand, and this seemed to tempt the whiting in a little bit closer to within shooting range. Now, not the best shot ever on a fish, but at least I landed it and I got to take it home for dinner. So when I shot this, as with all fish, I brain and bleed. Just preserves the eating quality of the fish. I get rid of the guts as well. Just saves me doing it at home and making a mess at home. I started to find little pockets of them, sort of 2 and 3, swimming around together. And they were almost getting shallower and shallower, which meant it made it very difficult to duck dive down and hug the bottom. Almost had to start shooting them from the top, just because it was that shallow. It made it a little bit more difficult. Shooting fish from the top always is a little bit more difficult because the wind chop sort of pushes you up and down, and it's hard to keep the gun steady. But managed to pop off a few and collect a few more for the bag home. Now this next one here managed to swim perfectly in line with a bit of rusty old sheet metal on the bottom of the ocean, and as I pulled the trigger, the shaft went through the whiting and through the sheet metal. Luckily, it was pretty dilapidated and didn't blunt the spear. This next little whiting was actually a strange one. When I shot, I actually clipped him right at the bottom of the gill plate, sort of the throat of the fish. It's hard to see in the camera just because the camera goes above the surface and then below the surface, and it sort of mucks it up right at the point where I pulled the trigger. But I clipped him at the throat and he got off. I hate injuring fish if I'm not going to take them home to eat. It's not something that I like doing. I think it's a waste of life. But thankfully, I swam around the area trying to find him, and I actually came across him. He was lying upside down in some seaweed. He'd actually bled out because I'd effectively cut his gill plate and cut his throat. So, lucky for me, I get to take this one home as well. This was the last one for the day. It was a great little session, kicking around in the shallows, pretty chilled diving, sun on your back, nice and warm, and collected a great little feed of horse whiting. So yeah, really, really happy with that one, really pleased.
Not bad. Good batch of whiting. Biggest went 45 and smallest went, I'd say, about 40. So really healthy size whiting there. Super happy with that.
Day 2 done. Pumps, unfortunately, his sinuses are fucked up, so he couldn't really dive too well, but it is what it is. At least we can enjoy this and enjoy the peace and quiet. Apart from the helicopter that keeps on landing up there near the lighthouse on the horizon. But how's this? What a spot. Just magical. Unreal. What do you reckon, mate? Good. Stop. We got parboiled cray legs. Ooh, on the floor. Fumpy working the chili and the garlic. We got some. Oh Jesus Christ! Isn't it? It's all fucking happening, yeah. And yeah, gonna have some crayfish and garlic and chili risotto. I'm looking forward to this. Saffron and all the good stuff. Oh yeah! Look at that goodness. Oh yeah, we're eating like kings tonight, mate.
Taste test.
Right, we got a lovely bowl here of crayfish risotto. We're about to get tucked in. What an epic day. It's good when you can catch a feed and then eat it straight away. Thank you for cooking, mate. How's the Serenity? Oh, it's right here! On the bow of the boat, Pumpy! So that was the end of an epic little adventure. Great few days away, awesome diving, good to come home with a feed, few crays, few fish, few abs. Really, really happy. Good to get away. And then, yeah, icing on the cake, on the way back in, we got escorted by a cute little pot of dolphins. So, yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Hope you all get out there and get wet. Until the next one, have fun.